for 5.
Jamie said we need 5, but
We got 5 now.
Carve off just getting us a little strip amongst the tea bags there. Just shift it.
Joe sits by all the guys that,
There's probably to that.
Right.
is Jamie coming up?
Temporary submission is
Okay.
typically what we've been saying is what we're having before.
howdy.
All right,
Wait, we are ready to go if you want to roll.
and I have the latest. Printed today.
Thank you.
That's all, no worries.
Nope.
Hey, Jamie,
There we go.
Ignore my text, Jamie.
use the backup
Ignore my
later
text.
today, didn't you? Oh, you texted me?
Just 30 seconds ago.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's probably still getting there. All right, with that, if I can, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd join us, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
All right. Commissioner Kibble.
I am here.
Commissioner Ettinger.
Here.
Commissioner Jetter is absent this evening. Commissioner Provo.
Here.
Commissioner Sahaki.
Here.
Commissioner Callahan.
Present.
And Commissioner McAllister. Commissioner Smits. And Commissioner Underwood.
Here.
All right. We have a quorum.
Good. With that said, we always start our meeting with public comment. Not sure, I think a lot of you are here for the presentation, so we will open the floor to public comment. Would anybody like to provide public comment? With that said, and nobody coming forward, we'll go ahead and move on down. Take a look at the agenda, and I'll entertain any additions or motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented this evening.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Provo, second by Commissioner Sohaki. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great. So we have an agenda. Special orders of business.
All right. We've got three fantastic.
We got 3 fantastic.
Yes, 3 fantastic special orders of business this
Good.
evening. We're going to be joined by Triton's Rowing to give us an update on the 2025 season, as well as American Legion Baseball for their 2025 season, and by the Conservation District for the year in review. So first up on our agenda, I
Chris?
welcome Chris Bott and the team from TC Triton's Rowing. Welcome.
Welcome. I see you brought some hardware, Chris.
We brought a few things for you guys to get to look at. We talk about it every year, and I've never brought anything for you. So this year, I brought a few things for you guys to.
Wow.
So we've got a state championship,
Okay, so
the
this is a state.
matching
Oh my
Midwest
God,
championship,
That's
and
heavy.
matching national championship.
Ooh, thanks.
And then for the 2 girls that we have here today, the Midwest championship for their boat. So
Wow.
we'll talk about
Very cool.
those events, but.
Hang on, that thing's,
See those
Oh
medals,
my
too.
God, I never won anything.
look at that.
It sure is.
Closest you'll ever
So cool.
Never getting any closer than that.
Okay,
Very cool.
nice.
This thing's beefy.
Lay 'em all out.
Congratulations, you guys. That's
Congratulations.
awesome.
Good
That's
job.
So cool.
Thank you for coming with those.
Awesome work.
That's heavy.
Thanks for showing up.
Chris, this is cool.
So as you're looking at those, the state championship is 27 teams just in Michigan. The Midwest championship is a 9-state regional. The top 50 teams from 9 states are invited to it, and that is our national qualifier. You have to take first or second to qualify for nationals, and there are 16 teams from around the country that qualify for each event. So just making it there, you're one of the top 16 in the U.S. is pretty huge. We sent 3 boats to nationals this year. 2 of them won and qualified with first place at Midwest. The other one qualified and went in the girls' senior varsity double. Out of the 6 boats that we have sent to nationals over the last 3 years, every single one of them has taken top 10 in the country. And then this year is our first year bringing home a national title, so super exciting.
Awesome.
Congrats.
So fantastic, fantastic season overall.
Fabulous.
So that's the quick version of success from the team. Otherwise, team is continuing to grow. Marketing is continuing to go really well within TCAPS. They've been very supportive of the program. So we're seeing some growth both at the high school and the middle school side, which then in turn brings more people into the park, more usage each day. And our coaching staff is continuing to grow. So where it was 3 people, we were up to 6 this season, which was really nice.
Nice.
So growth all around.
Very cool.
Great to see the program grow over the last few years. And how many years now has Triton's Rowing been in force?
We started in 2017.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's been a good growth, and it's definitely been a lot of change and success very recently. It's been very, very stable outcomes at a lot of the races. So our team tends to hover between 27 and 32 athletes on the high school team per season. We race against teams that are typically in the 50 to 60 range. One of the teams, the biggest teams, is about 120 kids. So when you have that many kids in the team, just statistically, you're more likely to have more fast, strong athletes, right, versus a smaller team. And we've been showing that we're doing quite well with a smaller team and still showing up. So it's been good.
Cool.
With that, and the park's been going well for you?
Yes,
I
things
guess
in the
that's,
park have been going very well.
Okay.
Yep. We moved the dock in the spring. I think all of you guys are aware.
Yep.
So there was a water depth issue. I did work with the DNR, EGLE, the Army Corps of Engineers, and Spence Brothers. There was some back and forth in the beginning, and then they realized that they had the dam too low, which was causing water levels to be significantly lower than authorized. So they got that fixed. Water levels were incredibly stable, much more stable this year than they have ever been since the dam was removed. I think we fluctuated 2 inches at the lowest point, whereas normally we had a rubber band of about a foot. So things are much more stable, much easier, especially once we move the dock. So that went really well.
Any questions? Jalen?
Thinking about long-term growth, 5 years, let's say, from now, is there anything you need from us to continue to foster the talent that you have there, the needs of the teams, anything that we can help you with?
I would still, whenever the park gets around to it, I'd still love to see road signage. When that gets adjusted, I'd like to have our name out there. I know we've discussed that in past years, but it just hasn't come time to adjust that sign yet. So whenever it's ready, I'd love to have that conversation. Looking forward out a little ways, a boathouse in the park to where we have an enclosed building to keep the boats in would make things significantly easier. Obviously, that's a much longer, much bigger conversation. But to answer your question, I think having a dedicated space indoors in the park would be amazing for the program.
For that signage, just to give you a little bit of background, so we do have that in our capital investment plan, our capital improvement plan. So it was in this year's plan. We've had some bit of challenges with just getting all the details together for that. We're close on that. So 2026 is our plan to do signage updates in most of our other parks, Medallion included. So that'll have a monument sign out in front of the park. We'll have panels along the bottom, one of those for Triton's.
Awesome. Fantastic.
A couple of other upgrades that are coming to the park, just for reference. We, over the course of the winter, will be inside the restrooms and doing some renovation in the restrooms. And then we are also replacing the asphalt throughout the entire park with the exception of the new parking lot.
Okay. That'll be really nice.
And that'll
yeah.
happen in the spring.
Fantastic.
John, I got a quick question, just in regards to the signage. Would this, the type of signage that's getting worked on, would that also be able to incorporate things in regards to like championships and being able to display that as points of pride? That we're
We don't have a way to be able to do that
kind of like the other ones.
on the
that,
identification signage. But that's something that we could talk
Maybe-
about as far as a kind of an entry. If you think about when you
Kind of the driving in.
you drive in, home of,
Yeah, yeah. I
like
wasn't
that
too
thought.
sure what kind of signage you were
I like
looking
that
at,
thought,
but I
Chris.
think considering the success that that we're seeing, that we should highlight that and
comment.
be able to promote that.
I think we take that down, Chris, as a note, with the team's help. You guys can help us.
And I think to foster that path forward, actually, I think it'd be useful for us today to, and I'm going to make a proposal here that we issue a resolution congratulating the TC Tritons on their state championship and Midwest regional successes, as well as recognizing their positive impact on the betterment of the local youth community and rowing-based athletics. Formalize that.
Do I have a support of that? Second?
Second, for sure.
Grace?
Great.
So motion by Provost, second by Ettinger.
Roll call vote, please, for the sake of the signatures on the bottom.
Okay.
Could you read
Okay.
that one more time? Just because it sounds so
can just
good.
It sounds so good.
Yeah.
Issuing a resolution congratulating TC Tritons on their state championship in Midwest regional successes and recognizing their positive impact on the betterment of the local youth community and rowing-based athletics.
With that said, roll call vote, please.
All right. One moment, please. Commissioner Underwood.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. Commissioner Callahan.
Yes.
Commissioner Sahaki.
Yes.
Commissioner Provo.
Yes.
And Commissioner Ettinger.
Yes.
Commissioner Kibble.
Yes.
All right. We have unanimous.
Thank you.
It passes unanimously, and we'll get that done.
I
sure will.
let me make it legible for you first.
They thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for the
Great
resolution.
job. Thank you, Chris.
Yes,
Thank you, and congratulations to the team.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming
Don't forget
tonight.
your stuff. All your hardware here.
Awesome. Thank you, Jalen, for
Well done.
supporting that.
All right.
Now,
Thank
up
you.
next.
Congratulations, Triton. American Legion Baseball. Gentlemen. Hello.
Oh,
Pleasure to come back and let you guys know how our season went. My name is Lee Cobb. I'm the president of the American Legion Junior Baseball in Traverse City, and this is Lenny Brunson. He is one of our board members. And so at the end of our contract, it asks us a bunch of questions, and so I'm here to answer those questions. And then if you have any questions after that, I can answer those. We love the Civic Center. It's a great place. We have such a range of kids and age. I had 4 boys, and so, of course, they're all different ages. So some are playing in this field, some are playing that field. So I could go watch one son pitch, and I could go watch one son sit on the bench or whatever. And our families love that. Little League, you have to drive to Cedar, you have to drive to Charlottesville, you have to drive all around. American Legion Junior Baseball, we only play games at the Civic Center. We just completed our 78th season at the Civic Center. We had just a little over 500 kids in the program this year. That made up 40 teams, 5 different leagues, all the way from 5 years old T-ball to 13, 14-year-olds in what we call Alpha, and all in between. So we had 40 different teams. So we had probably, 80-some, 100 coaches, volunteers. We played 229 regular season games. We played 29 playoff games, and we played 3 all-star games this year for a total of 261 games at the Civic Center. We are very, very satisfied with the grounds crew is just amazing. Rob and his team, and John, his whole team over there. I mean, some of the concerns that we have, and you guys have seen it before, and Lenny can attest to this, is when it rains, it's no good over there. So, and I know John and the guys are working on some of that kind of stuff, but really, that's out of everyone's control. But we hired a new, we called him field director this year. His name is Brad Ballantyne. And his dad used to do my job back when I was playing ball there when I was a kid. And Brad's just been an awesome addition to our team. He's our only, well, one of our only paid people that we employ. And Brad, he puts together all the teams. He gets the coaches and gets the uniforms, and he's down there every night. We employ a lot of younger umpires, and so Brad's down there to mentor them and to guide them against sometimes crazy parents. And so, but it's a great experience for everybody. And we also hired his wife to do some of our bookkeeping. We do everything online nowadays, so registration's online, and the coaches report their scores, and the teams communicate via this website that we have. It's called, yeah, the only question I was going to ask you. Anyway, we have a website that we pay for that does all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we're so happy to be down there. John and his team have just come up with a new contract for us to sign, and we're one meeting away from going over that and signing that. I think the only thing different this year is it's going to be 6 years instead of 3. Other than that, everything I think is pretty much the same. So, yeah, we're just so happy to be down there, and yeah.
That contract's in our packet tonight.
Perfect.
We have to,
I'm ready and willing.
so we will let you know how that
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
out later in our meeting.
Yeah.
With that said, any questions? Jalen?
Looking at your field usage, how much field time do you think that you utilize per week, per season, however you want to break that up, and what number of fields are you typically using out there?
Did you hear him?
Yeah.
He's thinking.
Well, we
You got to be close to the mic.
5 different divisions, and so we use 5 of the fields out there.
Okay.
Our games usually start around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're done.
You know,
We'll play, some days we'll play, some of the leagues, we'll play one, just a single game, sometimes 2 games. It just depends on the number of teams. We want to get X number of games per season for each team.
Yeah. The reason
And-
And then practices.
And then practices,
Yeah.
typically about 2 weeks before the season, we pay to reserve those fields, and then the kids go practice on those fields.
The reason I bring it up
Yeah.
is I think our master plan has us ultimately losing one baseball field as it currently stands. Of course,
Yes.
that can change at times. So I'm curious how that would affect you, if at all.
Well, I mean, we've moved around a little bit, like all-star games. There's typically a softball tournament on that weekend, and so we have a portable pitching mound, and we're in the process of buying another one. It's just easier for the field crew to have a flat infield, and then we can put the pitching mound on there, and then they can use it for other things. And we have in the past, during that, have moved over, I call it the T-ball field, but you know it as the field closest to the old playground in the corner.
Okay. Yep.
That we've moved those over there for the softball to do our all-star games, because we do those on Sunday. Another kind of a note is we don't play games on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. We just found that that people that live in northern Michigan want to enjoy northern Michigan, so we don't play any games during the week of Cherry Festival. So we give the people the time off to go and enjoy Traverse City and their in the weekends and stuff. And then the other part of the usage thing too is some makeup games for rainouts, but they're not a lot, and we never promise any makeup games. If we can accommodate it, we try, but it is what it is, and our season's kind of short. It's summer ball, so it's just to get our league. If you didn't know this already, our league is the American Legion is veteran run, right? So this back in the day. They decided to have baseball in Traverse City, 79 years ago. And typically, American Legions only sponsor one 18U team. So they put together an all-star team, and those all-star teams go and play other American Legion teams. But back in the day in Traverse City, they decided to do 5-year-old through 18-year-old and play. So that's kind of unique in Traverse City. Anyway. So, and we're more sportsmanship and teaching fundamentals in American Legion, whereas if you go to the other league in town, it's more competitive and more about winning. And we don't stress that. We stress fundamentals and citizenship. So anyway.
Do you guys anticipate like the same-ish level of participation for the next few years? Or
Yeah,
are you
it's been
exponentially
crazy.
growing?
So when Lenny started, I don't know, 6 years ago, we kind of we're like, what are we gonna do? You know, I mean, kids are playing video games and they're not gonna come play baseball. What are we gonna do to attract these kids? And the number's been around 500 for the last at least 7 years. Sometimes it's 502, sometimes it's 499, but this year we had just a couple kids over 500. So it's just been, I think we have the secret sauce. I think we don't play on the Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Parents like that. We have a central location. It's a beautiful facility, the Civic Center. I mean, we have people that come from Leelanau County. We have people come from Benzie, from Charlevoix to come play here, just because we kind of got it down, and you know, so yeah.
How quick does your registration fill up?
Yeah,
I
so
think that might answer your question.
Yeah,
we,
yeah, maybe what's
so
the
we,
difference?
and then, thank God for this program that we have, because we have had to shut registration down and come up with a waiting list. But it just kind of works out every year, doesn't it, Lenny? It just kind of, we get 6 kids on the waiting list, and then some kid breaks his arm and he's got to bail out, or some kid moves, and then we've been very fortunate to get every kid on the list. And we also have a lot of great donors. I mean, anytime we ever need anything, we have a couple of people in Traverse City that you know, whatever, and same way with kids that can't afford to play ball. We have a couple of donors in our pocket that don't ever let that happen, and it's probably 5 or 6 a year, and we just take care of it. We don't, no questions asked. If you say you can't pay, we just let them play. So.
Wonderful.
It's just a great organization. The board's been around for quite. I mean, we lost Ralph 2-3 years ago, but other than that, the board's kind of been the same since I've been around, and this is my 9th or 10th year. So we kind of got it down to a science, and Brad does such a good job for us. You know, running the day-to-day stuff. We all have jobs, or like Lenny's retired. He does golf for a living. But yeah, and we've had such a great partnership with the Civic Center. It's just been easy peasy for us, and hopefully, I mean, we're in it for the long haul. So we really do appreciate that longer contract. It just helps us out, you know, with not having to stress over other things, and we can focus on the kids and putting teams together. That's quite a challenge with the volunteer coaches and 500 different kids, and some kids have 2 different parents, and it's just it's been a challenge, but we enjoy it, and the veterans want to keep that going. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Just to add a little bit, the nice thing about our program is, as Lee said, the kids start playing it from 5 years old. Some of these kids have played all 5 years. They've never left our program. That's what's nice. Is, some of the Little League, they age out, and then they come to us or whatever. Here, they can start at 5 and they're down at 15, 16 years old.
90% of our umpires too that we employ are past players that have come back, and we've actually had quite a few girls in the program over the last couple of years, and Lenny had 1 or 2 that came back and umpired for us, you know, after they got done with their, you know, their career. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
Anybody else? Any questions? I'm going to ask you one.
Yes.
Go ahead, John.
I'll say just a couple things. Sports Engine.
Sports Engine, that's it.
I knew there was sports, I couldn't remember what it was, and so,
Me and Lenny are paper people. We do everything on paper. Everyone else on the board does things on computers. And then when they can't get internet, I'm like, oh, let me open my laptop.
Hope about that thing. I'm an old coach. I take a piece of paper, fold it in half,
Yeah.
stick it in my belt, and I look at it once in a while.
Yeah.
so in terms of water,
Yes.
just to mention a couple of other things. So Kara had found the turtle drain
Okay.
this year. And so the turtle drain is basically, it sits flat on the field, and and there's a pump that comes with it.
Yeah.
And because it sits flat, you can inject water from
Oh,
that
nice.
field at fairly high speed.
Brad will be very appreciative of that.
Yep, they've
Yeah.
used it. They've used it already, but
Nice.
we
That'd be awesome.
came across
Yeah,
that.
that's when we get a fair amount of rain, those fields.
Right. So now on the other side of that, we're just in the finishing stages of replacing the entire irrigation system throughout the park. And so that's going to make a better play surface as well. But one thing that you're going to like, hose bibs
Oh, nice.
at the dugouts.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Very cool.
yeah, so
The coaches
when you
will
don't have
appreciate that.
water, we'll be able to give you some water.
Yeah, and when it's hot out, Lenny and Brad are good about bringing the umpires Gatorades and waters and stuff. And it's,
Cooler and, you can tell the coaches, remind the kids, hydrate, bring water.
Yep.
If they don't have it, we'll go get some.
Anything, and we always try to ask this, is there anything that you need from the Parks Board? I know we negotiated a contract, it's here,
yeah,
but is there anything that we can help you with?
not really. And me and, well,
Backstops.
yes,
That-
so
I mean,
me-
that's one of the things that we've talked about, especially for the older kids, is to cantilever those, because with the foul balls, they go.
the
and,
one over by the
you know,
new
that's just-
playground is the older kids, and it wasn't built for fastball. But me and John have had that conversation, and we're willing to, we're a 501c, so when we have money left over at the end of the year, we reinvest it, and John can attest to, we draw anything he needs over there.
Yeah.
We cut red tape like you wouldn't even believe, and we can write a check for clay or diamond dust or some backstop stuff, and we can also help with, John talked about maybe some grants and stuff for the backstops, and we would be willing to either put in labor with 500 families and or some of our donors with some matching funds or whatever, so, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be seeking some opportunities
We'll
to
keep working on
be
that.
fine with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Awesome,
absolutely.
Thank you both.
awesome.
we appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Congratulations
guys.
on 76 years.
Thanks for coming.
76? I don't know if we'll be around for that.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Well, last.
Grand Traverse Conservation
Conservation
District. We
District.
got the team here. Year in review. Thank you for joining us.
We need a password or something here.
There we go. It did not come on. Hold on a second. So while you're doing your introduction, let me get it on the thing here. I thought I had it going, but.
Oh, 'cause it went off when
Yeah.
it turned green.
Finishing up a call, it almost drove.
Oh.
They had fixed
We'll electronically. Got to go to the computer.
DocuSign. Yeah, turns off everything.
Gonna make the lights go out on us if you're not careful.
Yeah, John, it seems that technology really loves you today.
Yeah, I had another meeting upstairs and he was in here.
So previously, it was. That's
Something
a good
came
sign.
on.
And close.
Do you know where that computer is? Hey,
There we go.
Great work, John.
I'm not really sure how I did it, but it happened, so I'm not going to mess with it anymore. And you get a quarter of, oh, you get all of that monitor now. All right.
All right. Well, good afternoon. My name is Kofi, and as you know, I'm from the Grand Traverse Conservation District. Tonight, I have with me our passionate, dedicated rockstar team. They are going to, in a minute, talk to you about the programs they run, the things that they do. It was really hard for us to try to squeeze a whole year of programming into this presentation. But what we're hoping to do is just give you a gist of what has happened or what happens. And I do it all the time, and I will repeat it again today. You have an open invitation to come see everything we are doing. If you get the chance, come visit. When we get to the bridge, Sarah's going to talk to you about how that's going. But I want to put this plug with you. Next week, they're going to actually bring the bridge in and set it. And it's going to be quite a sight. If you have any open time, you should come view it. So I have Adam. He's in charge of the ag program. Aspen is on the education team, and Sarah runs the conservation team. Irene does our communications, fundraising, volunteers, what else? Everything. And in the back, we have Allison, and Allison is in charge of operations and programs. So she is the fairy godmother that makes everything work. All right, and Allison joined the team recently, and we are very happy to have her. So I will pass it on to, well, as you know, this partnership has been in the works for a very long time. We've been working together for a very long time. I've been told, starting like the 1800s when Burger King was still a prince. But it's a partnership that we value quite a bit. And it's something that we enjoy, and we hope that it is reciprocal. There are several districts in Michigan. And I think the Traverse City area has a district that they can be proud of. And don't take my word for it. Check out the other districts. There are about 74 across the state, and compare them to what you have in your backyard here. You'll see a big difference. So, we do quite a bit. And, I will let these guys talk to you about it. I will pass it over to Aspen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aspen Shupak, and I'm the Education Specialist at the Grand Traverse Conservation District. I oversee, develop, and facilitate all of our, K through 12 programming, as well as our nature-based preschool programs, and in the summer, I'm an assistant camp director. At GTCD, we have the privilege of not only inspiring our community, but the next generation of conservation leaders. Through hands-on, nature-based programming, we open a gateway to the natural world for children, families, and adults alike. We do that in a few ways. One of them being our weekly programming. So we offer weekly nature programs for children and parents to help build confidence in both children and parents while creating lasting connections to their local environment and community. Through our community programs, we bring people together to learn, explore, and celebrate the outdoors, and collaboration is at the heart of what we do. By partnering with local organizations, we provide high-quality educational opportunities that are both engaging and accessible to everyone. Through our Nature Day Camp, we immerse children in the natural world. So campers explore, discover, and learn alongside natural resources professionals through our local partnerships, sparking curiosity and environmental stewardship that lasts far beyond summer. And then through our NEST field trip programs, our nature education for students and teachers, we connect classroom learning to real-world experiences. So our field trips align with both Michigan and national next-generation science standards to provide teachers the academic support they need while connecting thousands of students to nature through hands-on outdoor education. So by the numbers, we've done some pretty awesome things. This year, GTCD has hosted 3,000 students to the Natural Education Reserve through field trip programs. About 10% of these students came from as far away as Kalamazoo and Ann Arbor, traveling to experience the unique learning opportunities that the NER provides. In the past year alone, our volunteers have guided 16% of all TCAP students through environmental education activities, helping them build a sense of place and belonging in nature. And one of the highlights for students and volunteers alike is the Discovery Boardwalk, a living laboratory designed for both children and adults. I'm going to zoom forward and show you a picture. With 2 teaching platforms and multi-height railings, it allows up-close exploration of the aquatic ecosystem from both above and below. This is often the place where students get to meet their first frog or see turtles up close, and these are moments that can spark a lifelong love of nature. And research shows that these moments truly matter. A study from the University of Glasgow found that children who spend 1 hour a day in nature have a 50% lower risk of developing mental health issues later on in life. So this isn't just playtime, it's an investment in well-being, focus, and resilience. And then our Nature Day Camp welcomed 250 campers this year from northern Michigan and beyond. And we also piloted 2 new programs, expanding our age range. So our Introduction to Camp program welcomed 5-year-olds for their very first experiences catching frogs, playing in the creek, climbing trees, while our new Junior Counselor program welcomed 12 to 13-year-olds who started Nature Day Camp at the age of 6 to develop leadership, teamwork, and mentorship skills while giving back to our younger campers. By expanding our age range, we're nurturing nature connections starting earlier and lasting longer, building confidence, character, and a generation of environmental stewards. Through Project Learning Tree, Project Wild, and Project Water Education Today certification workshops, GTCD empowers both formal and informal educators to bring environmental learning into classrooms and communities. So I'm going to pop up right here. All the way at the back with glasses, a big smile, and moose antlers. Her name is Kelsey. Kelsey joined one of these workshops 2 years ago as a homeschooling parent looking for ways to incorporate nature into her children's education. That single experience inspired her to start a nature-based homeschool program in her community that has now turned into a nonprofit called the Nomi Forest School. Today, Kelsey is fundraising to build an outdoor education center in Manistee for her community, multiplying the impact of one workshop into a movement that could inspire hundreds. And right here at home, our amphitheater and ADA accessible family path have become gathering spaces where people of all ages and all abilities can connect, celebrate, and reflect. On the bottom right, you see a picture of one of our camp staff and our campers preparing the amphitheater for our first ever camp talent show held there. For that talent show, we had so many families and extended family members attend that we had to bring out extra picnic blankets to fit everyone there to celebrate this. And that, to me, proves how powerful nature is to bring communities together. Through every program, partnership, and interaction, GTCD strives to create inclusive, community-centered experiences that foster environmental stewardship and strengthen our connection to the natural world. Thank you.
Can you go back for just a second to the Discovery Boardwalk?
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about the progression of that from the top left?
Yeah.
Just make sure everybody knows what happened
Top
here.
left was the boardwalk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the top left picture is what the Discovery Boardwalk looked like when I arrived at the district in 2023. And while it may not have been the prettiest site, it still served a lot of the same functions We couldn't fit as many students out there. Sometimes when it rained too much, it would bounce a little bit and we get a little bit of water over the boards, which made the experience that much more fun for our students. But when it came time for our retired volunteers to lead hikes and lead classes down there to catch frogs and explore and observe the ecosystem, it got a little hairy. So, over the past few years, our team has worked to intentionally design the new Discovery Boardwalk. And if you look, you can see slanted railings at different heights that allow you to comfortably lean over. We also have 2 big teaching platforms, which are kind of hard to see in the pictures, but on the bottom right picture, you can see a little bit of it. We've designed these so not only our staff, but our volunteers can comfortably fit large classes down there. We can bring equipment. We do macroinvertebrate sampling. We observe reptiles and amphibians, and we get to see all stages of the frog life cycle in real time, utilizing this new boardwalk. And if you come down in the summer, you're likely going to find our campers laying down with their heads hanging over the edge, silent, watching everything play out.
Yeah, the team did an amazing job putting that together, and just every aspect of it is intentional. So really cool programming and great programming.
Thank you.
Nice to see everybody again. I am Adam Brown. I'm the Agricultural Program Coordinator. The Conservation District has always been steeped in agriculture, and we are still carrying that torch pretty strong here at the Grand Traverse Conservation District. We have 3 technicians that I supervise that are doing amazing work out in the field. And for me, you know, conservation and agriculture aren't 2 separate things. All this land is connected. All the natural resources are connected. So we have a produce safety technician, and Michigan, I believe, is the only state with a produce safety technician program dedicated to providing on-farm free technical assistance to produce growers. And these, like I said, these technicians provide free, voluntary, and confidential assistance to any size grower. And they do that through visiting these farms, doing risk assessments, and then preparing them for any future inspections. We also have the Transitioning to Organic Partnership Program. That's the top on the left side there. That program is strengthening organic farming and the communities that surround them, and investing in the capacity for these growers to meet the capacity for increasing demand for organic food production. So the technicians connect growers who are interested in transitioning to organic production. They provide mentorship to those growers and education and services like that. So it's a lot of education on the ground, and again, converting more ground to organic production, which is again helping out with the general natural resources and surrounding communities with safe, healthy food. And then we have the MEAP program, which has been around for a long time. I was a MEAP technician for a while. That's the Michigan Agricultural Environmental Assurance Program. They have since implemented a regenerative agriculture program, and with that they're doing more free soil assessments and testing, and including that into the already strong program that MEAP was in helping growers mitigate any environmental risk on their land. So we have some amazing technicians on the ground doing great work, and they're committed to these local farmers and the consumers and the overall environmental impact. Most of my energy, well, let me go back to this slide real quick. This day, Aspen didn't mention, but we worked on a curriculum for specific agricultural programming at Glyph this year, and it was one of my, well, probably everyone who was involved, probably was an amazing day connecting Cortate Elementary School students to conservation agriculture, where they got their hands in the ground. They're walking around these fields, catching insects, getting into the worm composting bin, and it was a beautiful day for all, and that's why I'm so proud of the incubator farm. Has become this living laboratory for education for all ages. This year, I had 2 farm training students that went through a 7th-month hands-on experiential training, where we ran Glyph as a functional farm. There was a CSA, Kara was a member of the CSA. I hope you're happy with your boxes. I taught in the classroom sessions. I did 21 sessions. I brought them to farm tours. And then beyond that program, I implemented 4 community workshops, so bringing in the community of people from all ages for 4 workshops, reached almost 80 people, all well received, and so I'm just trying to increase our community outreach with conservation agriculture. And then we also, supporting the people that have been in the program for many years, and we've connected a couple of them to local farmland, which is a big part of this program because the incubator side of the program is, the main goal is getting them the training and then getting them on to some local farmland. So we were able to do that, and then we also provide funding for those folks to help launch their businesses and help them make a living while transitioning off the property. Like I said, we had the CSA program. If you're not familiar, Community Supported Agriculture. People sign up at the beginning of the season, and we provide them with fresh local produce for 20 weeks. So the students helped with all stages of that process, from crop planting, seeding, weeding, harvest, and then packing the boxes. And what didn't go in those boxes all went to Food Rescue, who distributes that to food pantries and meal sites. And we able to donate over 6,000 pounds. I just loaded 1,000 pounds on the truck this morning. And that is and will always remain a mission of this program, to get food to Food Rescue and contribute to food access in the region. And then we also made some equipment purchases, all of these in which have dual purpose. They're steeped in education, like the vermicomposter. Those kids at the Cordate Elementary School had their hands, some of them, who were willing to touch the worms, were in there, getting in there and understanding how they're creating nutrient cycling and how their excrement is a nutrient source for plants. I got a new industrial composter, which could be a great tool for a community to reduce food waste. Got some biochar kilns for educational purposes, so people understand how that can be a tool for agriculture. And once we get a new post-harvest handling facility, we'll have a nice brush roller wash line and a space to produce more food, store more food, and contribute more to the people that need it in the area, and again, connecting that with Food Rescue. So for me, Glyph is more than just a place where food is grown. It's a place where people can grow. We got students coming in, unsure of their path, but through this hands-on learning and this comprehensive program, they're really they're learning valuable skills, and the community's understanding where their food's coming from, and we're connecting through education all these different groups. So I'm proud to be a part of this organization, and especially this program. Oh, one other thing is another memorable day was we had the Northwest Michigan Culinary School out. It was about 35 students. They came out, asked amazing questions, toured the hoop house, went home with some tomatoes and herbs, and transitioned that food into a dinner for their farm to school program. So good things happening out there, and they're going to continue to do so. Jalen?
Could I ask what Connected to Farmers to Local Farmland entails, please?
Yeah, so the program's goal is, we're right there on Keystone. We have some producers there that we connect to them. People contact us and say, hey, I have some farmland, I want it farmed, and we're looking for someone to farm it. So through those connections, people hear about the program, they contact me. We got those two together. This flower farmer grew on that land and was able to produce more, had some early crops because hoop house space is valuable, and so they were doing that. And another couple farmers started a project on some other land. So the idea is the Glyph only has so much capacity, so we're trying to get people onto vacant farmland as farmers are retiring. They don't want to farm anymore, and we can connect young farmers onto that farmland and keep agricultural going in the region.
Neat. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was truly one of the missions when Glyph was started, was to make sure we keep the practice of farming alive, and things like that. I would encourage the Conservation District to really share loudly all the amazing things that you're doing at the farm. You know, when you see this level of detail, it's impressive what you've put together. What's
Thank
a
you.
biochar kiln?
It's a place to take any, do you know?
I know.
Do you
Got
want
one
to
in your
field this
backyard?
question?
And I have biochar in the bonsai pot, so.
There you go.
It's a burning of wood. It's not complete.
It can be any organic material, but yeah.
But wood is the
Yep.
typical. They do not take it clear to ash. It's kind of a stop that process and use that carbon content and so on in their mix with their soils. If you look at a forest after a burn and a fire, the next year it just whoosh.
Right.
And they have attributed a lot of that to the biochar that's there. So gets that carbon back into the soil.
Yep.
Did I say it okay?
That's perfect.
I have a quick question. Do you do any outreach? I know you're trying to connect farmers and farmland with like the Farm Bureau or any of the traditional farming organizations.
What's your question?
Do you do any outreach to the more traditional, like a Farm Bureau, the Farm Bureau, the chapter up here and the things like that, the more, what I would call traditional kind of farming organizations?
I wasn't able to attend their they have a young farmers or something like that, but MEEP is integrated with that Farm Bureau, and I know our technician goes to their meetings and things like that. I personally don't at this moment, but we are definitely, the MEEP program has strong ties to Farm Bureau for sure.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Save mine for the end.
Okay.
Sorry. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sarah Vaughn. I work as the Director of Conservation here at the Conservation District. I just finished up my first full field season with our conservation team. I'm excited to tell you all about some of our accomplishments this year. I oversee a team of 5, and we all work on the conservation team. Together, we partner with the county as well as the city and the Recreation Authority, our main partners and contracts here in the county, to do recreation management, land management, conservation, river restoration, and really any conservation needs that our partners have. We're able to help address them and be the experts to really help look after these properties and to allow for the people of our community to have safe and accessible access to nature. And yeah, it's been really great to learn from everybody this year and learn from our team especially. So yeah, I'm here to talk about some of our accomplishments. In the year of 2025 to date, our team of 5 and myself have put in over 1,200 hours working towards the county, which would equate to a market value of over $80,000. Some of the things that we accomplished in this last year, the Education Department and I wrote a $60,000 grant for the National Fish and Wildlife Federation to do restoration efforts and education efforts where we were hoping to create more space like the boardwalk that we saw before out on the NER, as well as some educational signage incorporated with that effort as well. We're supposed to hear back this November on that grant. It's been a little bit delayed at the federal level. So fingers crossed that that grant comes through and we'll be able to implement those projects next field season. Another big project I wanted to highlight was our Medalli Rain Garden implementation with the students at Greenspire. So last year, one of our former employees wrote a grant and received $5,000 to help pay for a variety of plants in partnership with the Greenspire School, another long-term partners that we have in the community. The students working with the Botanic Gardens and their teachers at the school all came up with designs for this rain garden project, and they all got to vote on whose rain garden outline would then be implemented at Medalli. So if any of you are familiar with that location, prior to the rain garden, there was a pretty big depression that just held a lot of water, wasn't doing anything good for the turf grass, and so that was a perfect location to implement this rain garden. So our team helped to act as a project manager for the students. We worked with the county in making sure that we had all the necessary permits that we needed, ordered the plants for the students, and made sure to prep the area ahead of time. So our team went out there with a big backhoe and made sure that we could like plant in the location and strategically place some rocks in the area. And then we got to work with the students in getting the plants into the ground. It was a huge success, a great project all in all, and really only came down to a $5,000 grant that helped us pave that way. Another big project that we've been working closely with John on, and as you mentioned earlier before, is we're looking to update all of the wayfinding signage at the NER. So that's been something that we've been really proud of to help with and help take that on as a partner here at the county. We're very close to that being complete. John and I are meeting on Monday to kind of hopefully put the final bow on that, and then all the signs will be implemented next spring. A couple other updated projects that we're working on. Our team successfully reinstalled new fencing at all of the trailheads at the NER. As you can see in the bottom left there, they look really amazing. And then one of our newest members on the team, Troy, he started in July, helped to contract with a striping company to restripe and restripe all of the trailheads, so they kind of have a nice little fresh facelift. And then next spring, when we have all our new signs and trailhead signs, it's going to look really amazing out there. Yeah, and another big project that we're working closely with John on that hopefully will continue to be implemented into 2026. When the Sabin Dam was in place and we had the big pond, back in the day, the Conservation District worked with some of the prison crews to build overlook structures, and they were pretty old and outdated, and we needed to make sure that they were safe enough for the public, and turns out a lot of them weren't. So we had contractors come out and do inspections on them, and we closed off the ones that were no longer serving us and serving the public and were too dangerous. And this main picture here, kind of in the middle, is the new overlook at the Sabin Dam location. So my team completely removed the old structure that the prison crew had implemented, and then built this new fence and had the crushed gravel pathway that was that's the same crushed gravel ADA pathway that you'll find in the nature playscape and all around the nature center. So those have been some pretty great projects that we've been working on with the county. One of our biggest events in the last year was our Earth Day Work Bee. Last year in the fall, in November actually, I was approached by one of the members of the local Rotary Club of Traverse City, and they wanted to write a grant to help us do some work in some capacity. And so I kind of worked with them and brainstormed a good project for them to join with us, and it turns out that we co-wrote this grant to the Rotary Charities to help fund, to pay for more plants to be planted at our Earth Day Work Bee. It turned out to be one of our largest work bees to date. We had around 75 people. The Rotary Club brought a lot of their members, and Habitat was there. Other local organizations came by as well. Our long-term volunteers were there. But this grant allowed us to be able to purchase all of those plants and additional equipment to have at the district to use for time to come with our other volunteer events. It was a really great way to connect with the community. We host work bee events in the spring and the fall, so it is a reoccurring thing that we do, and we kind of rotate between the properties that we manage. But it was so great to have folks at the Earth Day Work Bee in the spring, and we had such a great showing. Another piece of this project was we planted a lot of riparian plants and forbs, as well as trees at the NER. But right at the boardwalk location. So the spring was when the Discovery Boardwalk was really opened up to the public, and we had kind of finished out that project and knew that in the summertime our camp staff would be using it. So we were able to plant up that whole restoration, or that whole project site that had been previously disturbed, and it's looking so good. It's growing in really nicely. So that grant helped us to fund that project. Oh, sorry, last little note there. In the summer, we also have more volunteer groups that reach out to us all the time. There was a church group from downstate that was staying at the Lake Louise Christian Summer Camp, and they reached out for a stewardship opportunity with us. And given the summer we didn't have a whole lot of rain, we had these students help us water the plants that were put in the ground in the spring. So that was a great opportunity, another way to connect with some folks in the northern Michigan area. So our Ottaway Crossing footbridge, kind of the end of the big project that's been about 5 years in the making. Construction has been hugely successful, and we are really at the finish line of getting the bridge put into place. If you look at the top picture there, that's really about what it looks like right now. A couple of us walked down just before coming over here today, and a lot of the construction is in place. So we are anticipated the bridge delivery to be on Tuesday, November 18th, and then the bridge will be set on Friday the 21st, which is next week. It's a pretty big deal. We're very excited. Irene's going to close us out with an update on our fundraising efforts. But yeah, everything has been going really well. Been in close contact with Gordy Frazier, who is our project manager, and then Molan, who are our construction crews. They've been amazing to work with, and we're really excited to get this bridge in place. So also speaking of work bees, we're going to have our big spring Earth Day work bee again, be on the opposite side of the bridge. So here on the photo, it's across the river on the east side. We'll have a really big planting opportunity and showcase the bridge and make sure we're, putting in the right restoration efforts to bring the place kind of back to life. Yeah, and just quickly, the east side of the bridge there, they're going to take all of the gravel that they put down for construction and scrape it back up and use it for the ADA trail on the east side of the bridge. And then in the background, you can see kind of like a large pile of dirt. That's all soil that they're going to refill in the area, and we'll make sure to seed the area with native seeds and plants, and then obviously come in again and do some more planting in the springtime. Great, thanks.
Exciting stuff.
All right, good evening. Hi, I'm Irene Stivis, and I'm our Communications and Development Specialist at the district. And I just wanted to share a quick update on the campaign for the Ottaway Crossing. Our campaign total for the bridge is $1.55 million. And then you can see here the breakdown of what we've raised in each category so far. So private grants, government grants, corporations, and individuals. So in total to date, we have raised just shy of $1.4 million, meaning we have just $167,000 left to raise to finish out this campaign, which is so exciting. It's been working on this for a couple years now, and we're almost there. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kofi to answer any questions.
All right. Well, that is in a nutshell what we have been up to. The campaign has been something that has taken a lot of work and a lot of people to get us to where we are today. And that number in yellow, 167,000, is really what we have to go. We're so close. We're so close, and there is no question in my mind we're going to get there. But I want to, thank John and Kara and everybody on the team for their support and belief in what we do. All right, so we are very passionate about the work that we do, and you are giving us the space to do what we're passionate about. So thank you very much. I will take any questions. Jalen?
Feel free to pass off to the appropriate team members as well. Ashton, there was talking about how 250 children attended the nature camp program here in the summer 2025. Is that the maximum that you allow? Because I see often everybody's always asking for educational programming for their children, and we always hear, Norte fills up their reservations right away. We hear even American Legion's filling up their reservations right away. Is that the capacity that you currently have? How quickly does it fill up? And how could we help that grow if you want it to head in that direction? Small question.
No, those are not small questions. Those are big questions. Our capacity is really driven by licensing. So Lara tells us how many kids we can have in a program. And if you get to, every level has requirements that you have to meet. So right now, that's what licensing allows us to do. But there is room for growth. I don't know how.
Yeah.
So we are even looking at the possibility of doing something with the new Camp Kralik property, for example. So there are options that we can use to grow the program.
Yeah, that's kind of what was on top of the mind there too. So is that, if that was a direction we were going to head in, are you at a point today as an organization where you would be able to scale up into utilizing potentially other parkland space for more programming, or is that something you'd have to build up to get to that point to help those community needs?
So two things affect a scenario, the scenario you're describing. One is under our control. The second one is not, which is licensing. Licensing takes, for a new site, about a year to go through. Right. So even if we're ready to start tomorrow, we'll have to go through the licensing process.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you. Don't worry, I got more questions. Adam there was talking about the agricultural piece, and we saw a great slide with a lot of great, I think, numbers on them. But I was curious, what are the target goals for those? I see we have 2 farmers on there and 1 incubator farmer. Do I feel good about that number, or do I say, gosh, how could that grow a little bit more? And maybe that's both, certainly. But are you satisfied with where those figures are today? Do they meet your expectations and goals, or is it something that you're looking to continue to move up in?
So both.
Sure.
Yeah, the numbers we have today are great.
Okay.
Right, and we have to remember that the program is in its 3rd year, right, and it has room to grow. So we are looking forward to growing the program. And that's something Adam is steadily working on. And that growth is not just in the number of participants who go through the training.
Yeah.
As you heard earlier, we're working with schools, we're working with community groups who are coming to learn about what is happening there. So the growth is, very in all those areas, and that's only going to continue.
Okay.
Something Adam said that, I think needs to be really highlighted is the work that we're doing with retiring farmers. Farmers who are done farming and don't have children who wants to take over.
Sure.
The logical step is to sell that property to a developer.
Yep.
And somebody said it really well, concrete is the last crop. Once you pave it, it can never go back to farming.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is trying to keep those properties into farming, for as long as possible. And those connections that we made, there was a gentleman, as soon as he heard about the program, he started calling. This was 3 years ago. He said, I'm ready to retire. My kids are not interested. Do you have anybody who can take this over? He has 150 acres. And that land has been in his family for 3 generations. It's a Rachel farm. They don't want to sell to developers. So they need a way to keep that into farming. And that's where that flower farmer that Adam was talking about came into play. So she's growing flowers on his property now, and he could not be happier.
Nice.
He's really excited. He will help her any way he can. And to him, it's feeling like he's passing on what he has spent his life on. And that land is staying in farming. So.
And was that, I'm just curious, I know Adam really works throughout the entire state with his programming there and helping farmers. Was that in the Grand Traverse County area that farmer?
Those, all those farmers in Grand Traverse County.
Excellent, thank you.
Right.
Final question here too. I heard here that Sarah was talking about our volunteer groups there, and more volunteer groups reach out to us all the time. Do you ever have to turn people away for lack of opportunities, or what is that volunteer process looking like, and how many people do you really have coming through that process on a regular basis?
So I will answer the first part, and then I'll have Irene give us some numbers. Yes, we have to turn people away sometimes based on the time of year. So like, for example, in the winter, right, there isn't a lot that we can do outdoors. If somebody's looking for an outdoor experience where they go out and, do stuff outside. So the winter is a slow time. The rest of the year, we have stuff for them to do. So, it's not very often that we turn people away. Most of the time we can accommodate, as many as we have applying. And roughly how many volunteers?
Welcome back.
We have about 170, a little over 170 volunteers in our network. Engaged volunteers we see regularly working with us, it's probably around 50 to 60. So we do, and that's growing. We receive applications every week, and then obviously in the spring, summer, and fall months, we have the school groups coming through and the other groups. But yeah.
And it sounds like they're not just digging holes and planting trees. It sounds like they're also helping then walk those school groups through, and they're really engaged in every step of all that you guys are doing there.
Exactly. Yes. Thank
Excellent. Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, so they pretty much touch every area that we work in.
That's great.
Yeah, and even kids, families volunteer with their kids, parents and their kids will come. Yeah.
That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you.
Galen, really?
I know, only a few major ones. That's all.
So, any other questions from anybody?
Kofi, I just wanted to make one point. During the presentation, Aspen, you talked about the rain garden at Medali. I think it was last month. That's not my memory. Jeff, the River Outfitters, was in and gave a presentation on Medali and how his business was there and so on. And one of the things he brought up to us was how the rain garden, he felt, helped with the property at Medali. So I don't know if that ever got fed back, but that came to this meeting, and he used that as an example. He thought that the rain garden really made an improvement. And I want you to know that, and we need to get that fed back to Greenspire also and those folks. But Jeff had mentioned it here, so just wanted to bring that up.
All right.
Yeah, it was just interesting that these paths cross in our meeting, and sometimes I wonder if you kind of get that information. So please use that and use it well. So
thank you.
Thank you for, and thank them for having that foresight and going to that. It worked.
Awesome.
Quick question.
Yeah.
On the farm, I know that earlier in the year we had talked, we were all together and was talking about the farm stand.
Yeah.
And getting that going. Was that something that got some legs this past summer, or is this next summer project? Next spring.
Come on up to the podium.
Yeah, thanks for that question.
You bet.
We did get the grant from Rotary Charities to fund the project. Having some tricky issues with permitting, so building code stuff, working that out. Otherwise, the building would be there. We have electric ran to it. We've got some crushed gravel down. So once we tweak the wording on the building code, I'm working with a local architect. That should go in place pretty quickly in the spring.
Great. Since we're talking about projects out there, is there a quick update on the
Pole building?
washing building?
Same thing. They
remember
It
what you called
was another permitting issue, but again, electrics run there, supplies are ordered, and probably the spring, that building should go up pretty quickly as well.
Super, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
With that said, Kofi?
No, usually Jalen has a question about how, if there is anything he can do.
Well, actually, I did have a final question. now that I think of it, and
All right, Jalen.
you know, we always ask everybody who comes here. You picked up last time.
I know,
Mhm.
I know.
What do you need from us? Looking at infrastructure, looking at developing through at least the next 5 years for you, if not further.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question.
Well, thank
you. I'm so glad you asked.
He wanted to know.
I know you really didn't give it much thought yet.
No, but the main thing that we focus on is connecting people to the environment, connecting people to the outdoors. That's the core of our work, whether it is at the farm, in the classrooms, on the trails, on the bridge, or whatever. And this may not be, this is not necessarily something you can do something about, but it's just an idea that we've kicked around for a while now, and it's not just in our group. But having a way to get to cross South Airport to get to Medali Park will make such a huge difference in this area, right? And I know there have been talks about it from time to time, but
Now, the road commission is redoing that area, Joe. Plans are already in place for that. The underpass, the culvert, thank you, for Medali area there.
Not in the near future.
Not in the near future. Okay, I know we've talked about it occasionally, but yeah. Is that anything you can shed a light on there? Not really.
Not at this time.
Yeah. There you go.
all right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kofi, Aspen, Adam, Sarah, Irene, thank you very much for the passion that you bring every day to the work that you do. Adam, that picture with you down on the ground with the student, that smile.
So many good pictures.
Yeah, that smile was infectious. So. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thanks
Thank you,
for
guys.
bringing
Great
everybody
update.
tonight, Kobe.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Wow, only did the consent calendar.
We got to go to the consent calendar, don't we? Boy, this is boring now. All right, consent calendar. Kara, are you going to do it?
Sounds like I'm going to take a stab at consent calendar.
Okay.
All right, the purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from this consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file or approval, is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. Receive and file. 1, executed resolution for Camp Greilich name. 2, GT Bay YMCA report. 3, Grand Traverse Conservation District Natural Education Reserve reports. And there's nothing under approvals.
All right, with that said, would anybody like to remove anything from the consent calendar? I will entertain a motion to approve it as is.
So move.
Second?
Moved by Underwood, seconded by Provo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Done and deal. Moving on down. Reports.
Right.
John, budget.
Let's talk budget just a little bit. So, thank you for allowing the addition. For some reason, we put the budget in there, but I didn't put the report in there, so we had to make that update. So thank you for that. Just a few things that I'll point out for this month. Pardon me. Under revenue, just a couple things there. Management rents, our continuing monthly management rent that we get from our partners for occupying space on properties. And that's the $3,043 that you see, and then rentals at $1,528. So just continuing that. We're seeing that revenue wind down as we get to these last couple of months of the year. Expenditures, you'll see a number of things under expenditures. Capital outlay, so you'll see $9,006 there. We did purchase a new to us Kubota RTV 500 for the Camp Grolic property. That was a needed addition. We had been using the past end of life Easy Go that we took from Power Island, and it was time. So it wasn't able to get to the property the way that we needed to be able to get to the property. Yeah, it was not going easy. Let's just put it that way.
Did you have to put it down?
We still have it.
Oh.
It's going to surplus. So if you're looking for an Easy Go,
Easy-ish.
And you're mechanic.
building repair, so you'll see 2794 there. So those are continuing Camp Grolic items. So working on the cabins, getting those ready, and those are in pretty good condition now. Contract services, big number that you'll see there, 14,737. Largest part of that is 11,604, and that's our quarterly payment to the Grand Traverse Conservation District for the wonderful work that they do on our Natural Education Reserve property. And then grounds, that is Camp Grolic, so 22,520 there. So majority of that is Camp Grolic. And then the software, the 5788 that you see listed there, is our Civic Rec annual renewal for our registration software. A few things that aren't recognized on there, but this is encumbered dollars. So this is basically money that we've spent and are committed. It just doesn't show up yet in the budget. So just wanted to kind of give you an idea. So if you're looking at that budget saying, gee, there's money left in this line item, what's the plan for that? So under equipment, we are expecting receipt Monday, Pilot Rock? Monday from Pilot Rock. So that is picnic tables, grills, benches, yeah, some replacement benches, and quite a few things. There's probably 20 or some odd different pieces of replacement amenities for the park. So this has kind of been an order that's been building, and we're excited to be able to see this come in and start to do some of those replacements. Advertising, so we've got a little bit of advertising dollar in there that we're going to spend on Michigan Trails magazine. We've been consistently using that in the past, and not only do we get the advertisement that goes statewide, we use that for Power Island to encourage people to reserve their campsites, because it's a perfect audience for that. But we also received, I don't know, 6 boxes or so of the magazines themselves, and we use those as those are great distribution pieces at events that we do throughout the area. Under grounds, you'll see 6270. I think I wrote 6720, but 6270 there. That is for our story walk. So we've purchased and received today all the frames for the story walk that will be installed at Camp Grolic. So you'll actually see that appearing in the budget next time, but just wanted to give you a preview of that one. And then under grounds, we're going to be requesting to contract with a local forester to do a tree plan at Camp Grolic. So that'll be a forest canopy care plan as well as a hazard tree mitigation plan. And then the last one, vehicle repair. We do need new truck tires for the parks truck to make sure that we keep staff safe when they're out there. So we'll be making that addition here. Actually, we just talked about it today. So as soon as we can get it into a shop, we'll put new tires on it.
Sounds like a good use of some of the remaining funds in there then too. And I know that's something you always look at as we approach the season. So I appreciate that clarification. Thank you.
Sure thing.
All right, any other questions for John on the budget? With that, we'll move down to the other reports. Jamie, we'll start with you. Strategic Planning Committee, please.
All right. Thanks, Rod. Yeah, last week, Strategic Planning Committee met, discussed a number of things. In particular, kind of spent a little bit of a while, and John helped me with the proper phrasing, but we essentially we got an update from John in regards to what I'm summarizing as the operational goals of the department and our parks facilities. Would that be probably the best way to kind of summarize that?
It's a review of the action plan, which is the spreadsheet. So it's a segment of our recreation plan, and those are all the things that we outlined in the recreation plan that we wanted to be able to do through the course of the 5 years, and just kind of a status update on where we are with those things.
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Sure.
On that one. I think we kind of, with everything else that had been popping up, especially with camp, we kind of got out of practice on going through that one, so we're getting back in the groove on that. And then we had a nice discussion with the disc golf fellow.
Greg from the Loft.
Yes. And some ideas that he had and possibly partnering with us out at camp for their base of operation, considering we have a brand newly updated disc golf facility and could be a great possible partnership that we're just starting to investigate and talk about. And those were kind of the big ones that I remembered off the top of my head. Well, not off the top of my head, but. And so that's it.
Great work.
Thank you, Jamie. Rules Committee, Jalen?
Rules Committee has not been required to meet between meetings here.
Okay. Natural Education Reserve Advisory Committee Representative, Mr. Underwood.
Well, they did some of them, obviously.
They did all of
The
it.
big news is that we had our meeting this week. We went over like the Firmites and some of the stuff they're doing there. We went over some of the projects that are being completed and or will be completed through the walking trails and the bike path areas, or not bike path, the walking trails and the overlooks. And we did briefly touch on the Beitner Bridge area, what we hope to accomplish next year. Things are going well so far with the city, so that's a good way to say it.
Yep.
Good.
There's still work to be done there, but if we can get that done, we would like to get that done in conjunction with the bridge. Those culverts will be removed probably a year from now, right around now or a little before, so that will actually be wide open as they build the bridge across the top of it. So if we can get it all done at one time, I think the general public will be very happy. And I actually think it's going to increase your access to the reserve and how people recreate on that. The big thing that they're working on now is to get a grant for erosion restoration. When you come around where the Beitner tubes are now, you come around, there's a big bend, and it's pretty much washed out one of those hills, and they want to get that fixed. So,
Yeah, just a few years ago, it was about 250 feet of shoreline that is eroded from the water. Power of water, it'll always win. That's now expanded to about 450, pardon me, about 450 feet that is heavily eroded, and it's become an undercut bank. And so the talk is to put a lot of rock and a lot of woody debris, put it in there to strengthen the shoreline. And so they're currently going through the process of writing a grant to accomplish that.
Thank you, Joe. T-Base, Jalen.
Yeah, a couple updates here first. I think the most interesting one is here that T-Base is planning on moving forward with some goals that we've kind of established with them. I think John's working to bring that up. But what we're looking at is encouraging them to think long-term about what their needs are out at Keystone Park there. And we're talking about some permanent office space, some permanent structures there that hopefully they can add to make the experience for people visiting that park, especially soccer users there, a little bit better. These include permanent restrooms, they include a pavilion, and they include space for their programming there at the Keystone Soccer Complex. And John is getting to some renderings. That's how far along we are on this process here. Some renderings that they have early in the process here. They are continuing to work with their architect here to get to a point where they'll be actionable. What you're looking at here is approximately a 30 by 70 pavilion that will be able to host programming underneath it. And then there are two separate buildings underneath this pavilion here. One has 2 rooms that could potentially be used as office space, so a permanent presence of T-Bays on that land. And then the other area there will be men's restrooms, women's restrooms, and mechanical room for those as well, each having about 4 stalls each. The note is that those restrooms can only be that size because of the drain field that is there. So there is a limitation as to the scope that we can supply. Certainly they will still have to substitute some portable restrooms for tournaments, but this does at least enhance the experience for everybody visiting the park in some ways. Our objective here has been to likely secure some funding, hopefully through an MDNR grant. John has a whole separate discussion on that. John, what can you tell us about that piece?
So I had an opportunity to talk with the DNR and run these plans by them. And a bit of a challenge that we face at this particular time, and we're figuring out how can we overcome that, is this particular property is encumbered by a Natural Resources Trust Fund grant previously. So the land was actually purchased with a Natural Resources Trust Fund grant, confirmed.
Okay.
And so when that land is purchased, you basically cannot create private use only space on there. That is, so we're limited on what we can do. And so this structure in its current form does not comply with an additional trust fund grant. So we have to figure out how can we make that space comply, yet still meet the needs of T-Bays and still meet the needs of residents who are, residents who are going to enjoy the property. So looking at different options to see how that might fit together.
And the area of concern on their end is the private offices for T-Bays there. So is it relabeling those and saying, hey, maybe this is also a coach's training room or something of those nature, and making sure that we're really addressing the multi-use function that they're likely to have? Or there's other approaches of perhaps exchanging funds or land. You're explaining it a little bit more before. There are other ways we're looking at still making sure that we can secure this.
One other option is to do what's called a conversion. So you'd basically carve this particular section of property out, and you'd have to purchase an equivalent or greater amount of property somewhere else that also has similar use capabilities. So it's not like you could buy a quarter acre of swampland somewhere that can never be used. You've got to buy something that can be used in the same manner that the park is being used now to some degree. So that's a little bit more complicated to accomplish. Not out of the question, but it is something that's more complicated.
I trust that John's going to be still navigating. That was something relatively new. We were just starting to discuss at the start of this week, but I know you also said their initial reaction was very positive still,
Yes.
nonetheless, at the DNR.
Yeah, DNR liked the concept. They just said that one piece is a challenge.
So we will see. More to come on that,
and
certainly. But
More thinking on
Yeah.
everybody's point, probably.
of course.
And then, maybe those spaces can't be private offices, but maybe they are some type of meeting room or training room or
You're getting it.
reception type of area, and used for that. I mean, I could see having a couple spaces on, that you can put, even some type of meeting type of thing that could be used, so.
Yeah. But wanted to share that progress there. I think it's
It's encouraging.
something that we have really tried to steer them towards for a while here. We're starting to see the results of our increased
Don,
partnership.
can you go back one?
And I should point
Keep
out
going.
a couple sites
Right
they
there.
are thinking of too are
gonna
either
say
near
Green
the
Traverse
barns or a little
Forest
bit
and
more
Green.
centrally located in between the north and south field section there too. That will be kind of determined by feasibility of where the well is, where the drainage field is, et cetera. So John is pulling up Google Maps as we speak, and he might show us exactly what we're talking about. I like how Jack's Landing is listed on there. It's great.
Right here.
Is one of the proposed sites that they're thinking of. Yeah.
That is the proposed site.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Right
at the end of the
bottom
turnaround.
Yeah,
All the
and the
grass
barn is, okay.
Yeah, all the grass has already died off.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, what was it? What's going on there?
They had a tent up there.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, I think through tournaments and stuff, some stuff gets put in there because of that central location.
Exactly.
So where is the edge of that property, John?
So
There's 4 of them.
right along here.
Right along there?
Yeah.
And it butts up against the power
Actually, it
company?
might go back just a little bit more.
But that's all, it drops off pretty fast back there, doesn't it?
Okay.
Oops.
Who owns the next parcel over?
It depends on how far you go.
East.
NMC certainly owns a part of it.
Oh.
DTE would also,
DTE,
or
yeah.
consumers, one of them would own.
We actually own a
part of that
couple
as well back there.
parcels there.
Guys blame me about getting in the
Whoa.
weeds.
Oh, that's pretty
We're looking at individual parcels.
Get us to the red spot here, so bear with me for a minute. So the yellow line that you see here, now the green line, so that's one parcel. So it extends just to the edge of that tree line. Second parcel right up here. Whoops, let me try and get rid of that box so you can see that highlight. Anyway, you can see the yellow line. So that yellow line extends right up along the tree line there and continues back a little deeper into the tree line until it makes this cut here and extends out to Bermley Road. So this parcel right here, this section, and then this parcel is the primary portion of the Keystone Soccer Complex. We also own, I believe it is this one right here. Nope.
It's over by Hoke Road.
Further back.
Yeah, you want to go further down, further south. It's where they were going to put a sewage plant that never happened.
Oh, sure.
Good, I live right
I think, yeah, keep going.
There's another 40 acres right down here that we own, somewhere in there. It's
A
adjacent.
little bit further down on Hoke Road there. Yeah,
That,
that's county,
that one, I think.
right in there. yeah.
There it is. That piece right there.
Interesting.
That was a sewage.
One time they were going to put a sewage plant there
Hmm.
with a discharge into the reservoir, but the reservoir is gone, so it's never going to happen.
Should make a
That's all the updates I have from T-Base. Thank you.
Thank you, Jalen.
Yeah.
Move on down. Joe, any report on the road commission?
Sure, we got lots of reports. I
Lots of
I
reports.
don't have an update on South Airport. It's kind of backed off a little
That's
bit.
all right.
We are in the midst of getting ready to do next year's projects. Obviously, this year's projects are finished. And winter is upon us. We're getting ready to do that. Beitner Bridge, of course, we've already talked about. TCAPS, we will probably be rebuilding Cass Road from the bridge to South Airport. So that's two different sections. One of them is a road commission project, which would be from Hartman south, and the other one north would be MPO, an MPO project where we're going to actually widen that road to 3 lanes. And then at Hartman, I'll go down to 2 lanes back through that whole area up to the other word. Frankie Road is going to be on the docket as of right now. Hammond Road's going to be on the docket. We have some other things that we've discussed, but I don't think we should discuss them publicly yet. But we will. We did get an increase in budget, so you'll probably see a little more construction happening next summer. So, but T-Base probably will want to know about Cass Road because it will be ripped up.
They'll be closed for the most of the year, I imagine, for their tournament purposes.
I would guess because of school, if we can do it, it'll be right after school closes, so it can be done before the buses have to roll again.
Yeah.
So
So it's going to be
from
where to
South
where?
Airport, yeah.
from South Airport, yep, we're going to go 3
South.
lanes South Airport to Hartman,
Uh-huh.
and then we're going to rebuild the 2 lanes from Hartman to the Robinson Bridge.
Okay.
I looked the last time I drove through there, and they had kind of redone the road right off the bridge into the curve.
So
So I'm sure they're gonna.
that's what I'm anticipating. Now, whether it happens or not, obviously things can happen.
Bridge
But.
isn't really 3 lanes.
And then, of course, like I said, Hammond from Town Line past 3 Mile towards Center Ice will be widened, changed, redone, and then heads up for 27 because we're going to shut off South Airport and we're going to widen South Airport from Costco to 3 Mile the best we can without having to buy all the land. So it'll go to a 3-lane road. So those are
A few things.
few things, yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Drain Commissioner Andy's not here this evening. County Board Representative Brian McAllister's not here this evening, so we're down to John, Director's Report, please.
All right, so Camp Greilich, so we are close to our opening opportunity. I'm not going to give a date because if I give a date, then we want to make sure we're accurate. We believe within a couple weeks of being able to get the property open. Big thing is we got to get our signs together. We did receive our last batch of signs today, all of our wayfinding signage for the property. They started installing signage today, and we'll be installing signage throughout tomorrow and then throughout early next week. And then once we get all that signage in, we'll then meet with Grand Traverse Metro and make sure that everything is good with them, good with 911, so people can navigate, and if somebody needs to get to the property for emergency purposes, that they can do so. So we are very close to being able to get the property open for trail use as well as disc golf course use. So more to come on that one, so watch for that. We will also be meeting with the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners next Wednesday and talking about the capital improvement plan. There's a number of things that are in the capital improvement plan, some that we've moved forward from 2025 and moving into 2026, and then a few things that we're going to be adding for 2026. So moving forward, we are moving forward the renovation of the restrooms at Medali, the roof on that building, and asphalt replacement for the property. We'll be moving forward skate park repairs at Civic Center, as well as the signage replacement project that we've talked about in a couple of different times here already today, and then continuing the NER overlook replacement. We're continuing the engineering and the NER overlook replacements. Spicer's been helping us out with that. There's a couple of little snags that we're working through in terms of permitting and other requirements with Eagle to make sure that whatever we put in does comply with that. So they're continuing to work on that. For 2026, some additions. We are hopeful on the Vasa Improvement Project, and should that grant come through, the county has already committed $125,000 from the 2025 capital, and through a vote earlier in the year, committed an extra $175,000 towards that match. TART would be adding another $100,000 to a match to bring us to a 50% match on an $800,000 project with a $400,000 grant. So, and we just received the scoring on the grant today. We received the final scoring. We're cautiously optimistic, I guess I'll say. We've scored 355 out of 450 points. That's a good number. And we'll see where we land on December 11th when they announce the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund grant awardees or recommendations. I'll be going down to Lansing for that and hopefully coming back with some success. For Holiday Stroll, so we talked about it at the last meeting. The Holiday Stroll is a project that Kara and the team kicked off. And the idea there is we're going to be placing 8 trees at Civic Center. So this is in the kind of the median or the walkway as you go from the parking lot toward the ball fields. We're going to put 8 trees there. 7 not-for-profits have already claimed those trees. We've got 1 tree that is still outstanding. We've got an offer out on that tree, but haven't heard back from it yet. So, but we are very confident that we will fill all 8 of those trees and have a nice display for people to come and enjoy and see the park decorated for winter. And speaking of trees, we met on property at Camp Greilich with a local forester. That forester's putting together a plan for us for tree health as well as hazard trees. So I'd mentioned that in the budget report earlier. We did a replacement of the Meyer House furnace. We just finished that just this past week. The furnace gave up on us and put a new one in there, so continuing to make advancements to that building as needed. We did receive bids for our south building. So the south building at Civic Center. We received those bids, which is part of the MEDC RAP grant. And so we just need to go through those. So we're currently in review process on those. And then just a couple things as we wrap up here. Light parade. So November 22nd is the light parade. The county has an entry in that. We always decorate the parks truck for that and have a good time with that. If you've never been to the light parade, come on out. It's definitely a good time. We still do have some spaces for folks that are interested in coming out and joining us. So let me know. You'll see that in the next update. We are a Dropbox location again this year for Toys for Tots. So if you've got Toys for Tots, come on over to Civic Center. Let's make sure we get those in. Do you know the date offhand when they're picking that box up? Early December. I'm not sure the exact date, but early December. So don't try and wait until Christmas with your toys. Bring those out, and we'd love to be able to see those at Civic Center. We are also a Dropbox for a food drive that the Grand Traverse County Health Department is sponsoring. So bring out your canned goods, your non-perishables, and let's make sure we can fill both of those boxes. And then North Sky. So I'm going to turn it over to Kara to talk a little bit about North Sky's sketch plan review with East Bay Township.
It's funny, when Jamie was talking about Strategic Planning Committee last week, it feels a whole lot longer ago than last week, but the evening of the Strategic Planning Committee, As that meeting was in progress, I headed over to East Bay Township. I was accompanied by Jeffrey and Caitlin Bonet from North Sky Rapture Sanctuary, which you guys have met before, along with, they didn't bring the bird this time, but you've met the bird, Raza. And so we were at East Bay Township Planning Commission just doing a sketch plan review, so not submitting a full site plan application, but kind of the same process we did with Camp Greilich, just to kind of hear what the Planning Commission thought, what concerns they might have, so that before we get too long into the process, we can address those. I would say that it was generally well received. There was only one public comment prior to our presentation. The one public comment was in favor of the sanctuary, but expressing concerns about the entrance at Hobbs and Scout Camp. The Planning Commission in general support the idea. They see the mission fit. They see it as a good regional asset there. They too have some concerns about the entrance, specifically the way that Hobbs Highway and Scout Camp are configured there with that little island triangle. The township planner stated that any kind of traffic impact study would be triggered by an increase in parking, which we are not planning with this project. So therefore, our site plan won't trigger any kind of traffic impact study. I did make them aware that we've installed a traffic counter that we've borrowed from the Conservation District because we wanted some granular information once the park opens about its baseline usage from community members and what that looks like. And then as we begin to have programming out there, overlaying those traffic numbers onto what programming is being held. So we're happy to share that information with them. They're in general appreciative. The only other concern that was expressed was that they said, you know, you came to us all these times, you had all these discussions, you have this great ops plan. Nowhere in there did it say North Sky Raptor Sanctuary. And, you know, we didn't know what we didn't know at that time. We had to pursue two parallel processes. We didn't want either one of those to slow the other down. So I think that they understood that, and I shared that, you know, we're in continuous communication with township planning staff, and we will continue to do so. I had a good conversation with Claire Carner after the meeting as well, just to kind of make sure we understand what is subject to site plan review administratively, what is subject to planning commission review, and what kinds of things we are able to just go ahead and do as a park use and accessory. So overall, it went well. You want to talk about next steps with North Sky too?
Sure.
So where we stand now with North Sky, we also met with the Land Conservancy to introduce them to the idea and understand how the sanctuary would fit in with the conservation easement. One of their big questions is the paved path that's part of the North Sky project. So North Sky has engaged Spicer to go out and stake that path so that we can go out there and walk with the Land Conservancy and see what trees are in the way of that path and what that might look like. So that's one piece that we're working on. The other is the idea of a land lease, and North Sky's done a ton of research into that and have some ideas about what they might want to see. So we're working with them on that piece of it as well. And then we will work with them on the nuts and bolts of the site plan review application when we're ready to go back to East Bay for that. We will be the applicant as the county. So we want to make sure that those other two pieces are lined up and good to go, and that we have an approval also from the Land Conservancy, and then we would go back to East Bay.
How does a land lease fold into this?
What is it?
Like why would we need that, I guess?
So they'd be building a building on our property. So we would lease the land to them, give them the opportunity to build that building on that space.
Compared to other, so it's there, but they would own the building. It's not like other properties that we have where we, like Norte, where we lease our buildings to them.
Right, so in this case, there's a building that they'd be putting on property. Generally with those land leases, in fact, the Conservation District, the Nature Center is a land lease. So they lease the land, they built the building, and then they lease the building back from us, essentially.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't understand that they would be owning the structure,
So,
I guess.
you know, technically, we would end, in most cases, we would end up being the owner of that. So that's what you need to figure out, is how that structure is best set up.
John, are they taking a structure down to build the structure?
They would be taking a structure down,
But it's
yes.
bigger than the one they're taking down.
This is slightly bigger than the one they're taking down, yes. Not much bigger, but slightly bigger. So there is an impact that we need to think about in the amount of developable space that we have on the property. So there's 86,000 square feet of developed space already. Under the conservation easement, we can double that. We have no intention to double that. But this does add to that. And then the paved path would be something that would be permanently attached to the ground, so that would be subtracted in effect from that buildable space on property. So those are all considerations that we need to make.
I'm going to make one other comment. The road commission is aware that there's concern about the driveway. That driveway was put in, near as I can remember, late 70s. So it is kind of grandfathered in there. We do know that that intersection is of concern. And we've had some internal discussions. I've heard from the administrator, and we talked about it. And those are one of the things that we're not quite ready to talk publicly about what can or cannot happen. But the road commission does know there's concern at that intersection.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on that? I think we'll move on down. Thank you, John, for a great report. Old business, we have none. New business.
New business. All right. So we got three things on the new business this month. So first is the American Ramp Agreement. And so this is an agreement that would be funded by the MEDC RAP grant and Norte's portion of the match for that grant. Grand Traverse County would be the account holder with this particular agreement, which is why we would need to be signing it, because we are the grant awardee. So all the funding goes through us, and that is also pursuant to the funding agreement that we completed as a commission last month. So we are looking to be able to execute this agreement so we can get on the schedule to move forward with this for next year's construction.
Any discussion?
John already answered my question, was a reminder of the funding sources that
Yep.
we're using.
Isn't this going into where the parking lot, that one kind
So
of
this would
parking
be in
lot
the-
area to the north of the facilities building?
So it's immediately north of
Kinda
the
kitty
facilities
corner
building.
to the pool?
Yes, so immediately north of the facilities building and immediately west of the pool building.
Yeah.
So there's a grassy area there. It's been used for parking in the past. It's been used
Yeah.
for some shows in the past. We've been talking with partners who use that space for the last couple of years now to prepare them, and we've also been working with them on what alternate space can we use to still be able to retain those things on property and still be able to accommodate their needs, and we've been able to do that.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement between Grand Traverse County and the American Ramp Pump Track.
Motion by Underwood, we'll do second.
Second.
Second by Sohaki, Commissioner Sohaki. We don't need we can just do a normal vote, right? We don't need
We spend
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Let's move over to the American Legion baseball agreement.
All right, so this is an execution of agreement between Grand Traverse County Parks and Recreation and American Legion to continue their participation on property. As Lee Cobb had mentioned earlier, the biggest change in here is simply the extension of the agreement in terms of time. They've been a great partner, and by extending that time, that would give them the ability to basically plan further out into the future. We've taken fee stuff out of the agreement.
Okay.
In the past, we had fee information that was listed in there. It doesn't make sense to include the fee information in there because they follow the standard fee schedule that we have in place. One thing we did also add is the potential for us to offset some of those fees through sponsorship, and so that's a piece that's included in there as well, and that would be investigated, and should that be an option, we would consider that.
I'll motion that we approve the agreement between the Commission and the American Legion
I'll
for
second.
their baseball activities.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion, excuse me. Motion by Callahan and second by Provo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right, and the last one, agreement with the Kiwanis Club of Traverse City's flag project at Civic Center in Medalley Park. So this is a project that they've done for many years now, and it's a pleasure to be able to host this one on properties, on those two properties. So they do this at multiple holidays. I'm losing track of exactly which ones off the top of my head, but Memorial Day,
4th of July.
4th of July, they do Labor Day.
Labor Day, Veterans Day.
I think they did Veterans Day as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Flag Day.
No, actually, they didn't do Veterans Day this time.
I don't think
I'm not
they
sure
did.
about Veterans Day, actually. I don't remember
They did
seeing
not
the
do
flag.
Veterans
Listed on
Day.
page 31, Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence Day, and Labor Day.
Oh,
There we go, thank you.
I know that my dad is a volunteer and has his assignment and puts him up and takes him down
Yeah.
All right.
as part of that project.
So when you vote yes, you're giving your dad something to do. All right.
There you go. That's right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Kiwanis flag at Civic Center and Medalli Parks agreement as presented.
Motion by Provo,
I'll second that.
second by Callahan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right.
They have the good news.
That completes our new business. Old business, excuse me. New
Oh,
business.
New business.
New business.
New business. You want to introduce?
Yeah. I'd like to introduce,
Come on up here. At the-
come on up to the podium.
Dave.
We're going to put you on the spot. All right. I'd like to introduce Dave Botbill, excuse me.
Yep.
Did I pronounce the last name correctly?
Yes,
All right.
perfect.
All right. Dave is the newest appointee to our Parks Commission. And I'd also, at the same time, like to thank John Sahaki for his service on the Parks Commission. Now, this is not John's last meeting. John will be back here in December.
Got one more.
You have to be here in December. So, but just wanted to say thank you as well and welcome. So if you could introduce yourself, if you wouldn't mind, to the group.
Right, no problem. Dave Botbill. Been in the Grand Traverse area since 2004, but have been living here more permanently for the last couple of years. My wife and I own a home in Williamsburg on the resort. Have 2 children. They're adults, taking care of themselves. But I'm a caregiver for my father. He lives with us. And that's what keeps us pretty stable in the community. I'm a long-term educator and school administrator. Spent 20 years of a 30-plus year career overseas. So I was a school principal and head of school in Kuwait, Morocco, Dubai. So I've been around the world a little bit, but love to call the Traverse City region home. It's a beautiful place to live, and happy to offer my experience and this commission. There's a lot of good things happening in the Grand Traverse region. So happy to be participating and working with you in making parks and recreation possible in this region. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you in January for sure, and probably
I'll be
before.
here next month too, but then join.
And if you need help, a lot of experience sitting right here, so reach out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So no second public comment. Notices and commissioner comments. Anything for the board?
Nothing here.
With that, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:28. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.